Link will be in the description below as I covered one of the magazines for 2010 nostalgia. GameStop shuts down Game Informer, the longest running gaming magazine in the US. And there's what we think of Game Informer, we think, of course, of GameStop, which bought Game Informer long ago. So it started in 1991. He covered like Final Fantasy VII. I remember having an issue, I think the earliest issues I had, it would have, I think it covered Eternal Darkness walkthrough. And it was really cool. So I'll read some of the article here. Staff at the magazine, which also publishes a website, weekly podcasts, and online video documentaries about game studios and developers, were all called into a meeting on Friday with parent company GameStop VP of HR. In it, they were told the publication was closing immediately. They were all laid off and would begin receiving severance terms. At least one staffer was in the middle of a work trip when the team was told. Oh yeah, Kotaku gets real detail here. This sudden closure means that the issue number 367, the Atlas Dragon Age, the Veilguard cover story, will be its last. The entire website has been taken offline as well. The Game Informer Twitter account, or X, posted the following statement online. I just saw it. That's why I got to here. So today, but sources tell Kotaku was not written by anyone on the team, which was still in the process of making sure everyone on the staff was informed about the news. After 33 thrilling years of bringing you the latest news, reviews, the insight. So this is the statement that they put out from the early days of pixelated gaming. Thank you to everyone. So this is the statement that I saw on Twitter, or X. We'll still call it a tweet. A frustrating turn of events, especially considering we were about 70% done with the next issue and it was going to have a great cover, tweeted Game Informer magazine content director Kyle Hillard after the news broke. I'm furious about the end of Game Informer, tweeted former video producer Ben Hansen. It was an incredible 33-year run, and then GameStop pumps out this phony, empty farewell message. I bet money it was written by AI. Fuck you, GameStop. And a huge fuck you to Ryan Cohen. Oh, shit. Kotaku doesn't mind getting this out there, don't they? Every URL for the Game Informer website now redirects to the official statement, erasing more than a decade of articles, reviews, and original reports that helped establish a record of the notoriously secretive and volatile video game industry. A recent in-depth feature on the retro game studio Digital Eclipse about gaming's history and preservation is one of the stories that is no longer accessible. A write-up about Game Informer's famous game vault containing releases from across its decades-long history is also inaccessible. So a lot of stuff is also inaccessible. More than just a magazine. So Game Informer was the leading monthly magazine among a group of publications that included GamePro, Electronic Gaming Monthly, and also Nintendo Power. The Minneapolis-based print publication had since become the only major one left standing in the U.S., known for monthly reviews, editor columns, and wide-ranging previews for upcoming games, and access to big names for interviews that few others in the industry could match. So, sadly, it was purchased by GameStop along with previous owner, the gaming retail competitor FuncoLand, and in 2000, this essentially gave the publication its own one magazine newsstand across thousands of stores, with GameStop customers getting a yearly subscription, perks of signing up for the rewards program. Oh, yes, I remember all that. Let's see. Anything more in recent years? Has GameStop has spiraled following the collapse of physical game sales, and a massive corporation became an albatross, weighing it down. This means it's despite its meme stock explosion, which has netted it millions in the bank. GameStop has continued cutting jobs across its business, including nearly annual rounds of layoffs at Game Informer. Longtime editor-in-chief Andy McNamara left to join Electronic Arts in 2020 with departures of other senior staff. He just had to jump ship. He knew it was happening. That iceberg was coming. Following amid the ongoing crunch, as someone who was there at issue 1 and spent most of their life fighting and scratching and clawing for GL, it's GL. It breaks my heart. Oh no, it's Game Informer. I'm sorry, Game Informer. I don't know why that's one of these things. It breaks my heart to see its end. He wrote today, Game Informer will always hold a special place in my heart. As always, the people are who matter. What an amazing journey for us all. GI forever. Yeah. Article dropping physical issues. So that's not, this is, after dropping the physical issues, when did that happen? Of its rewards, finally let the publication start selling directly to publishers, began selling a couple of months ago. It seemed like a new, more independent beginning of sorts, or at least a prelude to the decades-old legacy of outlet finally getting spun off or sold. Game Informer's closure comes as CEO Ryan Cohen, this is the GameStop CEO, continues shitposting about the 2024 election. In an email to staff last year, the executive called for extreme frugality and criticized money wasters who don't contribute to the company or its success. He's currently being sued by the former company behind Bed Bath & Beyond for $47 million in insider trading profits. And I'm guessing he's not a Trump supporter. Maybe that's, I don't know. I'm saying that. I don't know if they're saying that. Added redactions, update, added information about the website being down and refunds. No, never mind. He is a Trump supporter. He's just a bad businessman. Okay, let me give us some final thoughts while we're looking at, there's so many issues of Game Informer. We'll look at this one from The Force Unleashed. Now, I was thinking about doing a series of Game Informer looking back at certain things. Obviously, like reviews and previews of games, unless the game had not been seen by the general public. I would like show you certain articles. There was one where they were trying to show the beginnings of like the Xbox One, and then the guy who was like in charge of like, I don't know if it was the public relations person. He said, deal with it. And then he left the company. He left Microsoft the next week. And then it was a bunch of bullshit that led to the Xbox One's release. And then there were other articles where, I think there was one in particular where, now the Xbox Live Arcade has shut down, but in the beginning, it was difficult for people to get their games approved by Microsoft, approved for Xbox Live Arcade. It was like a shit show when they started out doing Xbox Live, because, trying to get that game approved so that everyone could play it. Back then, we didn't have like, now you have Steam and Valve, people could put shitty games on Steam, right? What is it, Haunting Grounds or whatever it is? Remember that one, the Jim fucking Sterling's son? So there were so many different weird articles that Game Informer had, okay? Now, did I like the whole GameStop, like you have to get a card. You have to be a member and have a card to actually shop in the fucking store. No. And you get your free membership, and it just about every magazine that I have there is a result of being at GameStop. And I stopped going to GameStop in 2016. Once I picked up Metroid Prime Federation Force, but I didn't pick up the second Lara Croft game, which now I have on my Steam Deck. I have all three Attitude Lara. I don't know what to call it, these ones. Attitude Lara, Realistic Lara games on the Square Enix era. So I have the Tomb Raider and Rise and Shadow of the Tomb Raider on my Steam Deck. And I also still have the original disc from the 360. But after 2016, when I bought Metroid Prime Federation Force, and I thought to myself, I was done. Like when I quit Mattel, I don't know if I'm going to still quit Mattel, the test of my morality, but I quit GameStop. I never went back. I never went back to GameStop. I never went back to all that stuff. So here I am, 8 years later. 8 years later, I've 8 years sober from going to GameStop. I would go to Target. Maybe I'm going to go to Walmart, I think, today. But I just don't need it in my life anymore. Do you know? I don't need it. It's fine. GameStop can fail. We all know the horror story. Now, it's been a while amidst the politics and the movies and the video games, but this is video game related. And we forgot about GameStop a little bit because GameStop had been in our radar, a couple of years ago. But things have happened. 2020 happened, and everything, the fallout from that. So we're back. We like a pitcher pitching, throwing that ball, but going back to first base because the player was going to move, right? We look back and we say, oh, what you doing there? Hey, we're looking at everything. So yeah, I would say fuck you, GameStop. You didn't take good care of your customers. I don't care. I don't care who Ryan, the CEO, supports. If he wants to support Trump, you can still support Donald Trump and run a good business. Okay. I don't know what if Trump had problems with his businesses before, but you can still run a good business. You can still run a good business and support Donald Trump. Okay, as far as politics go. Okay, and no, it's weird. I saw something from your boy Zach with Comics Matter where somebody was saying, criticizing Colin Kaepernick, the guy who took a knee, the football player, for supporting AI and not, um, what is it, perspective POC people, which is illegal. You can't support people based on the color of the skin, but some people do that shit, right? And Zach was criticizing the guy who was criticizing Colin Kaepernick. I said maybe the guy who was criticizing was trying to, maybe he misspoke, you know? Maybe he was trying to call him and say, hey, you're supposed to support diversity all the time. Why are you supporting AI? You know, maybe that's what he was trying to say. Or maybe the guy who's criticizing Colin Kaepernick is a complete dummy, and Zach was just calling him out for the 100th dumb thing he was saying. So anyway, that's what I'm just going on and on about other stuff, but GameStop's dying and Game Informer's dead. So I would suggest you go to Target instead or Amazon. And if anybody else wants me to review the other magazines, I will put in the description, go to the description below, and you will see my review of one of the magazines for Game Informer. I still have them. I still kept them. And this is now the reason why I have kept them.